Hi, welcome to the Let's Get It podcast. It's 2020. We have a new guest in the building, Monique Jackson. She's a whole lot. Monique, before we get started, let our viewers know a little bit about yourself and what you're doing, your business, and all that good stuff.
Okay. So I'm a people operations business partner, which is a little bit different than human resources in that I help business owners and business folks figure out their human capital, how they're using the people in their organization to meet their business goals. And that can be anywhere from staffing and recruiting to making the best use of the talent that they have on board. Do they need training? Do they need to scratch it? Like, what are they doing and how does this align with what they want to do with the business and reach their goals? So in that way, I'm their partner.
Okay. So whether someone's doing a startup or they're already in business, they reach out to you for numerous things.
Yes.
Pretty much. What made you get into this field or this job, per se?
So initially, I didn't have a background in human resources. I was a office manager doing more administrative things, and I saw an opportunity and I took advantage. And then I figured out I loved people. I no longer wanted to work with numbers. I didn't want to do analysis. I didn't want to do any of that. I liked working with people, and the best job in the world was, oh my God, I meet people, they're awesome, I figure out what they're good at, and I hire them.
Okay.
You get a lot of loyalty from it, and I'm really proud of some of the folks I've hired and where they are today. And so that was my introduction to people. And then people in the last years that I've been doing this.
Only a few years.
Yeah.
Right.
Has changed. Initially, like human resources, people operations, it was like a throwaway. It was that part of the business that no one wanted to spend money on.
Right.
And then companies like Google and Microsoft figured out the magic formula. And it's really like talent development and recognizing who your people are and what they can do for your business and how important they are. Because if you have somebody there performing and they go someplace else, they take all the knowledge, experience, all of the industry information, and sometimes your secret sauce goes with them.
Right.
So you want to make sure that your folks are happy, engaged, and living up to their potential. And that's how you get your business where you need to be. It's not about the equipment you have or the technology. If you don't have the people, it's done.
I'm glad you brought that up. When I was in Vegas, I don't know how I found this out. I think it was through conversation either at dinner or in the cafeteria. I think they spend $2,000 to $3,000 to hire one person. By the time the paperwork comes, I mean, our booklet was thick to fill out. By the time they review that, the background check, the interview, the second interview. So no, you're right. I think the people, you're dead on with that.
It can actually be more than that. If you take every single person they've met with, and then you figure out and calculate their salary per hour and how much time they've spent with the candidate, it actually becomes much more cost prohibitive than that. And if you have someone who, or I'll give you an example. If you have a terrible recruiter and you are meeting with 50 people, imagine how much money you're spending. If you have an amazing recruiter who says, I'm going to give you 5 people and you're going to choose one, not because I say so, because I'm going to give you 5 great people. You've just caught, you know, the cost has gone from like $100,000 to like $5,000.
Right.
The other thing people don't think about is when you hire someone, if they turn over or they don't stay, how much is that costing your business? Not only is it costing what you spent to hire them, think about the training, think about all of the things that go into that employee, how they impact your business, how your customers feel. People are attached to things, especially in hospitality.
Right.
If I'm attached to Susie, or I like to say Johnny Lunchmeat, and every day I come in and Johnny Lunchmeat gives me a great big smile, asks me how my dog is, and says, hey, you changed your hair, then I'm coming every day because maybe coffee is coffee. But I look forward to Johnny saying,
good touch.
Yeah. And then when Johnny leaves, I'm like, where'd Johnny go?
Right.
I'm not coming back, or I don't like Susie. You know, so it does impact your business in small ways, but all these little micro things lead up to a bigger picture.
I'm going to come back to that, but I want to go back. 1995. The reason I picked that year is because when we were looking for a job, or back then, It was a different. Tell me about how individuals used to look for a job back in 1995
Well,
and before that, of course.
Well, between there's my favorite thing, Apple, the agency, that everyone would go through Apple for staffing needs, and they cornered the market, but they were doing the same thing every other business owner was doing. They'd put an ad in the newspaper, and people would sit and circle the things, and they would mail in their resume, or they would walk in the door and disrupt your business filling out a paper application,
right.
At a table, filling things out. And
But the process was the Sunday newspaper,
Yep.
the classified ads.
Yep.
You gotta have a pen.
Yep.
A notepad to write down the name and phone number.
Yes.
And it will say either call, mail your resume,
Or stop in.
open interview.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Or they put there's my favorite thing, the help wanted ad that goes in the window, and you forget to take it down, and people are still applying. That's your pipeline. That was what we call pipelining.
Well, that still happens today, but
Yes. But then you say, here, use your QR code, go to our site, and fill out the application on your phone.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yes.
So that was 95. Mm-hmm. Now in 2020,
Yes.
how do people apply for jobs now?
There's a variety of ways people apply. If you're a forward-thinking organization, you know that less is more. And I hate to use the word millennials. I like to use Generation Z folks at this point because millennials are now in their 30s. But when you're looking at an 18, 19, 21-year-old, they are not going to sit there and fill out an application that takes 3 pages. They want to do it from their mobile device. It's going to be quick and precise. You're going to upload a resume. The resume is going to parse it. And if you're lucky, and if you're with a forward-thinking organization, you're also going to have some kind of bot or some kind of things in place where you can quickly vet your candidates and see, who do I want to talk to and who do I want to save for later. Other than that, a lot of smaller organizations who don't have the need for a full-time recruiter will hire someone like me who comes in. We sit down, we say, what are your staffing needs? Are they seasonal? Are we going to need 10 people this month, 50 people next month? Summer, is that busy for you? And we're going to create a staffing plan, and we're going to create a marketing campaign now. We're going to use LinkedIn. We're going to use Facebook. We're going to use TikTok. We're going to use Snapchat. We're going to use Instagram. We're definitely going to tweet. We're going to use all of the different social media channels. And we're also going to use, if you're really forward thinking, the text to apply, like where you find somebody's social media presence and you send them a text and you give them a link to apply. And so those are the types of things you're going to do. But I'm telling you, I worked for a very, very, very large organization. We had 10,000 employees. We were a retail operation. And we had the old school ADP where it doesn't parse your resume. Yeah. And I think the interesting thing about that was we were this amazing organization. We had brand notoriety all over the country. But we had an 80% drop off. People would go, click on the link to apply, and only 20% of them would finish the application because we wanted your social security number and we wanted you to fill in your employer information one line at a time. And so we figured out that we were missing 80% of the candidate pool because people don't want to fill out that long application.
Wow.
Yes.
I thought I was up on the latest, but that's why I have Monique here to shine this on you guys. Really quick, I want to give a shout out to Salt Catering. We're in their studio making it happen. And also shouts out to Bliss Tea and Treats. We're going to do some stuff in Oceanside, California, and they're one of our sponsors also. But anyway, back to business. How often should someone update their resume and their LinkedIn profile? How often?
So there's a couple of things. In deciding how often you do that, you have to figure out, what am I trying to accomplish? Most people think they should only update their LinkedIn when they're looking for a job. But the reality of it is, in a socially driven economy, you need to update your presence anytime there's a change, anytime there's something interesting. You need to follow the people who inspire you and motivate you and connect with people, because it's such a small world right now. You never know who your next lead is, who your next business contact is. Specifically for business owners or people who are upwardly mobile, you need to constantly have a presence. And some people say, oh my God, how do I do that? Well, guess what? You do it on your Facebook every day. You read really cool articles and you share it with your friends. LinkedIn really isn't anything different, except maybe stay away from politics and your dating status, and just kind of talk about the things that inspire you, or wow, I read this article and I learned this, and you share it. So it really is kind of a regular thing, at least weekly, I say. As far as
weekly for the resume or
no,
LinkedIn?
Weekly for your LinkedIn.
Okay.
And for your resume, I feel like you update your resume, whether you're looking for a job or not, when you have something new and engaging and interesting to add.
Okay.
If you have a new accomplishment, if you may have the same title, but maybe you've taken on a new project, you've run with that project, and it's amazing. Because the reality of it is you may not be looking for an opportunity, and someone may say, wow, what are you doing? I'm interested in working with you. And the last thing and the worst thing as a recruiter and as a hiring manager I want to hear is, well, yeah, let me get my resume together. And 3 weeks later, we're still waiting for the resume. The world moves a lot faster. And the guy or the lady who has their resume ready to go is the person I'm going to bring in fast.
Right.
They don't have a lot of patience. It used to be this long, drawn out process. It's like, get those people in front of me, and fast and in a hurry.
Who should have a LinkedIn profile? Should everyone have a LinkedIn profile?
Yes.
Business owners, entrepreneurs?
Yes. Anybody and everyone. A kid right out of college, a kid in college. Because you want to connect with your future employers. You want to follow them. Even if you don't have anything to add to the conversation, you want to be able to look at the conversations people are having. How are people interacting? How is that communication changing? The best thing ever, and I will say this, I have a kid who's 9 years old, and he is at that age where he's going through different professional changes. Being his mom, he learned very early on to create his LinkedIn profile. And for years, it didn't really do anything. He just kept updating it. And now he's in a place where he understands the industry that he's wanted to be in. He wasn't in that industry, but now he understands it. He can speak to it. When he meets somebody who's doing what he wants to do, he knows what they've been doing. He knows the latest trends. If someone asks him a question, he can say, no, I haven't done that. But I noticed that you wrote a report on XYZ and that your company is doing this, that, and the other. Sorry, I'm getting all steamy.
It's like, wow, that's a serious conversation.
Yes,
You're the
it
first
is.
person to bring that heat.
It's intense.
Right.
And I'm passionate about it. And I think that I do what I do because I have worked with so many people with different backgrounds. And I mean, my go-to interview question when people say, what's your biggest accomplishment? I can look at the people who are on my personal social media, and I could say 50 to 75% of them are people that I interacted with, interviewed, hired. I am that recruiter in the corporate environment who doesn't look at your resume. I look at what I think you're capable of, and I will advocate for you. And that's something I'm really proud of. And I have people who were underdogs who are doing really, really well now. So that's my claim to fame. Not like how much money I saved the company, but
Right.
And these are people who started off early in their career and now they're wildly successful. So those are my babies. Those are my accomplishments. So I'm going to take these off. Ha!
I want to talk to you about staffing.
Yes.
And the reason is because I work with a lot of individuals that either have a hard time staffing, their ads don't say what they really want, and when they do bring in the staffing, they're just filling a space.
Yes.
And for me, I've gotten to a point where I've gotten frustrated because people apply for the job, they know the job description, but it doesn't really happen for some reason.
Sometimes job descriptions are things where hiring managers throw in everything but the kitchen sink, like this would be great if I could have this would be great if I could have that. But instead of creating a plan, and staffing really is doing a talent assessment. What do I have in my business? Where are the holes? Where are the pain points? And how will this person help drive the business? It's no longer like the little boy with his finger in the dike. It's now like, how do I move my business to the next level?
Right.
And maybe you have an employee who's been there forever, who's really good, they're on automatic pilot. Maybe you need someone to kind of push it. So when you're developing those job descriptions and you're looking to hire people, you have to look at the full business, what the needs are, and what your next step in the organization is. People are usually in panic mode. And that's because, let's say you have a new budget in January. And in January you go, oh my God, I need to hire 10 people. You're already 6 months behind. You should be pipelining even your field staff. Even I worked for a cafe, and we knew we were opening new stores. And then a week before, they're like, oh, find people. And I'm like, how many do I need? And then we would open, and we had not really thought about the traffic, and so we were still understaffed. Looking at the numbers, what the expected return on your investment is in a store like that, or in a cafe, or in a coffee shop, you need to know, where are my needs, and do I want to start pipelining now? Do I want to start reaching out to culinary schools? Do I want to reach out to junior colleges? Do I want to start like going into my competitive businesses and seeing like who the superstars are, and how do I smile and say, hey, you're really amazing. What's your name again? But you do that in advance, and you time it so that you say, hey, we may be opening something in 4 months. I'd love to talk to you about it if you're open to new opportunities. I know you may be happy where you are, but just keep that on your radar. And so it's developing relationships.
Is it easier for you to do it than a business owner? Because
No.
Okay.
No, and I say no.
And the reason, why I said that. Because
Yes.
as the owner, you're kind of like, I don't want to be poaching people.
It's not,
But-
if someone's unhappy and ready to jump ship, it's not poaching.
Okay.
If someone is, and so I want you to think of employees this way, right? So you've got the employees who are okay, they're not bad, they're not great, they're happy status quo, I come in, I do my job. Then you've got the people who are low performers, who are under the radar, and they're a warm body, right?
Right.
And they're never going anywhere because they're getting by doing less. Then you've got the people who have high performance and low satisfaction. And those are the people you want. So it's twofold. As a business owner, your responsibility is to recognize your high performance folks, identify what they want to do, have conversations about what they're pursuing. Maybe they're in school, maybe they have no interest. What do I need to keep you here until you graduate from college? What do you really want to do? Oh, you like numbers. Well, how about if I give you the responsibility of doing inventory and coming up with cost savings? You figure out what motivates them, moves them, and inspires them,
Right.
so you keep your high performers engaged.
Right.
Most people think as long as they don't complain, there's no problem. But those are the people you want to keep. Those are the people we poach. I don't even like to call it poaching.
Right.
They're ready to leave. They're just waiting for someone to give them what they haven't had.
Got it.
So I don't look at that as a negative. If you don't know your team, and if you don't know your high performers and what they're doing, and if they're happy and what they want to do, shame on you. You haven't asked the questions.
Whew. See, this is the way I want to start 2020. I'm bringing it to you all straight, uncut. So we covered resumes.
Yes.
We covered LinkedIn.
Yes.
How often you should update it.
Yes.
Job posting.
Job postings.
We just talked about retention, keeping your high performers engaged, part of the team,
Yep.
vested in the situation. I just want to touch on resumes a little bit, and even
Yep.
LinkedIn.
Sure. I'm not going to give away the secret sauce, though.
No, I don't want secret sauce. I just want, no.
It's the
And
secret
she's
ingredient.
the secret sauce to make it happen. I guess back in the day, you would put, yes, I worked here. And for me, it's kind of repetitious in my industry.
Yes.
I'm a chef here. And it's the same duties, different location. Might
Yes.
be bigger, maybe smaller.
Yes.
I'm still serving food, quality control, what have you. With that being said, I'm just not sure with being repetitious with what you put on your resume if that still works.
No.
Meaning, do people want a personality now, or do they want a little bit of both? Like, what do you do now to make it?
So, in my experience in hospitality, I know, like a cook, like a line cook is a line cook is a line cook. They just want to know, have you done salads? What have you worked with? What
Right.
kind of volume have you done? That isn't necessarily, and the biggest problem for me as a recruiter was I would go, no. That doesn't tell me how fast you are. It doesn't tell me the volume that your role does. It doesn't tell me if you're successful. It doesn't tell me how you handle waste. It doesn't tell me how you handle cost of goods. It doesn't tell me any of those things. And people think because they're not a manager or a director or they're not a supervisor that they can't speak to the cost saving measures that they've done for their employer. I like to see a resume, especially if you've done the same job in 5 places. Then I would rather you just list where you did them with your titles and then maybe do some bullet points at the top and say, hey, this is who I am, this is the kind of environment I'm looking to work in, this is what I love, and these are some of the things that I feel like I'm really great at. Because that's more than, I did this, I use a knife. No, I don't want to see that. Like, same thing with servers. I want to know, like, if you had 20 great Yelp reviews, say, hey, accomplished 20 amazing Yelp reviews in my last position and, with 5 stars or more. I want to see those types of things because, Yelp is king in hospitality in particular. Right. So I want to see those accomplishments. And no, they're not like, I didn't take over the world. I'm not Pinky in the Brain. We did not take over the world. But I want to know that you accomplished something and you did an amazing job. And what are the measurables? Like, how do you know you did an amazing job?
Right.
Yeah. I worked in an environment where we had a tip pool. And so we only wanted to hire top performers because it was a tip pool. Everyone was going to share. So the last thing you wanted to do was aggravate your staff with someone who couldn't perform. And so those were the types of questions we asked, and those were the types of resumes who spoke to the type of clientele they were accustomed to serving. You have best practices, you have steps of service. I want to know your knowledge base on steps of service. Responsible for greeting, Like, show me, like I'm stupid, that you know the steps of service and you know how to deliver. That you know how to align yourself and the way you perform with the culture of where you're working. Those are the things.
Okay.
And for all intents purposes, yes, I want to see your personality. I want to see a sense of humor. I hired someone recently who said, what did she say? She said, professional kitchen manager, part-time Jedi Knight.
Pause. Part-time Jedi Knight. Pause. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with part 2 with Monique Jackson. And I got some more questions as far as the Jedi Knight. I also want to talk about making the transition to a different career. And, how you go about that. But anyway, I got a few things I'm thinking about. But I just want to say thanks again to Salt of the Earth for letting us use their studio. Bliss Teen Treats based in Oceanside. We're going to have Monique's information to talk about how you can contact her, and she can definitely get you into 2020 so you don't look like your stuff is back in 1995. But anyway, I'll see you guys later. Okay, cool.